All right, everybody, welcome. All rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for the men and women who are currently serving, and have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Clerk will call the roll.
Cologne Hayes. Here. Condon. Crow. Linehan. Here. McDonald. Here. Murphy. O'Malley. Here. Sika. Here. Simonelli. Here. Winslow. Spatafora.
Spatafora here.
Great.
Did we start early? By a minute. Okay. This is 6:58. Where's your phone, so?
It's 6:59.
It's 7 now. Okay. It's off. Okay. Yeah, we were a couple minutes. We started a minute early. I apologize. It's 7 now. Let the record show Paul's here. Public comment?
There is none that I know of.
Okay, let's just, clerk will confirm if there's public comment. No public comment. Approval of the minutes from September 13th and the 27th of 2022. I didn't see any edits usually.
It was 3 sets.
Hold on, where's the third one? The 13th and the 27th. Is there a third one?
Yeah, the 20th.
I don't have that. Oh, it's in the back? I'm sorry.
Should be 396. Oh, that's weird. That should be, well, there's 3 sets of minutes. 26. 395.
You got 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have 3. So, yeah, I only have 3. I only have 2 on my docket. So, minutes for the September 13th, September 27th, and September 20th. Any edits? I didn't see anything from any councilors. Council Winslow's pretty good about that. Anybody have any edits, corrections? Motion? On Council Connor's motion to approve the minutes, seconded by Councilor Simonelli. All those in favor? Aye. All those approved? Minutes are approved. Next order of business.
Paper 398-22, mayoral reappointment, Ralph Long, the third of 109 Essex Street, as a member of this Disability Commission, said term to commence upon the confirmation by the City Council and to expire September 22nd, 2025.
On Council Simonelli, excuse me, on Council Simonelli's motion to place confirmation on file.
No, you have to vote on it.
Oh, no, we have to vote on it. On Council, why are you asking to say place on file? On Council Simonelli's motion to confirm appointment, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Ralph is reappointed. Next order of business. It says reappointment on mine. It says reappointment on
The
mine.
original one was appointment, but he's a reappointment. He finished out the term of, he got appointed last year, and he finished out a term of somebody, and he was up this September.
I don't know. Mine says reappointment, so.
It's definitely a reappointment.
Okay.
So it'll say reappointment in the minutes.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
originally it was appointment, and then I pointed out it was a reappointment, so Carol Ann changed it.
Got it? Okay. Next order of business.
Sorry for the confusion.
Public hearing.
It's paper 399-22, it's a public hearing. Petition Boston Gas DBA National Grid, 40 Sylvan Road, Waltham, Mass. Work order number 900000XX to install a new gas regulator station on Green Street near the intersection of Medford Street in accordance with the attached plans.
Councilor Crowe for the paper. Do you want to speak first, or when we open up the public hearing? It's up to you.
I think we can open up the
Okay, I'll open up the public hearing. Okay,
conversation, but we'll have some discussion.
perfect. All right. I declare the public hearing open. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, my name is Diana Cuddy from National Grid Gas, 40 Sylvan Road, Waltham, Massachusetts, and I'm in favor of this project.
Not that quick, Diane.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate efficiency. That's a little too quick.
Okay.
Councilor Crowe?
So I think if Ms. Cuddy can actually sort of explain, because we just had this conversation, because, you know, I have some concerns, and I know some of the neighbors are here. They had a little concerns, and so we were talking about maybe a way to find a better location, but I think just for the edification of the neighbors that have come out, kind of be understanding what it's all about.
Okay, sure. So originally we had cited this regulator station on Green Street next to the Bell Rock Cemetery because we need to tie into the main distribution line that's in Green Street. However, it became an issue with regards to some of the contents of the cemeteries exceeding the rock wall, and the state archaeologists got involved. So we decided to relocate it down the street on Green Street so we could tie into the same distribution system. And some of the requirements were that the sidewalk needed to be wide enough and close to proximity to that distribution system. So that's why we selected that location that we're asking for a grant location for tonight.
So, Councilor Crowe, you still have the mic?
So I think some of the things, well, some of the concerns that we sort of discussed a little bit is, you know, it is an elderly and disabled building, 59 Green Street, that it'd be right out in front of. And in that area, I already have some sidewalks that are kind of smaller, and so accessibility is kind of an issue. So when I see vent poles and traffic blocks, I see tripping hazards and, you know, more issues. So, and then even, I know there's a representative from 59 Green Street. I know they're all compliant with ADA regulations and safety, and I appreciate that. And so we would kind of having a discussion further about seeing if there was another better located spot that really would tie in. Because you do want people to regulate the gas and be fine, but I am concerned that it's a clear area right now, and I have a pole, and then I'll have a regulated box on this side of the street, on the same sidewalk. Pole here, regulated box, I got a tree pit. I'm kind of, concerned about really all of that.
There is some flexibility with locating the traffic box and the vent pole, but they do have to be within close proximity to the regulator station. And this regulator station is it's replacing a temporary one that we built back in 2019. And it'll have a double feed system, so there's safety issues and reliability issues that is the need for doing this. But like I mentioned, we originally had it sited down the street on Green Street, and it has to be in a certain proximity to the whole system to feed it properly. I could certainly go back and see if there's another alternative.
And I think one of the alternatives we were talking about is back on the Medford Street side that's across the street. We have to figure out, make sure that sidewalk is wide enough.
Right.
But I already have a pole there that's closer to the fence of Robinson Cuticle, that building, and this weird vent pole, green vent pole. So if we align those things up there, then I'm not, that pole is already against the fence. So if we're lining some of the things up, it won't be as bad as having a pole on the side of the sidewalk and
Right. I think the challenge with locating it there is all the regulator stations that I've seen, they tie in quickly to the system. So if to move it to Medford Street, the piping from the regulator station back into the system, I think would be too far. They really need to be tight with the line that they're feeding.
Well, but it would be closer than even near Bell Rock Cemetery, because it'd be across the street from Bell Rock Cemetery, close to where you want to put it.
So the line runs down Green Street, so that's why we were in the sidewalk at Bell Rock Cemetery, right off of the line, and now down the street a little bit, on this, around the corner on Medford Street on Green Street. So, but I can certainly go back and see if there's other alternatives as well.
That would be much appreciated, I think. But I think we go
Any
on
other
with the hearing,
questions?
so just, yeah, like I said, concerns.
Okay. Any questions for National Grid? Okay, absolutely. Councilor
Murphy.
Yep.
Thank you. Just listening to the conversation here and being a city councilor faced with a, number of issues, it sounds like you and Councilor Crowe need to really kind of have a huddle and discuss this further so that every potential opportunity has been exhausted to place this regulator in a place that's conducive to the residents who live there, 365 days a year. So, I would suggest that, this be tabled, until that conversation happens.
Hold on, you shut your mic off. You shut your mic off.
Like I said, there are a couple of neighbors, so I'd rather kind of continue on a little bit here, so at least then we can hear if they have some other concerns or ideas or whatever that, we can get that all
So
on the table. if you don't
Councilor
mind.
Murphy, you mind waiting on that table motion? It does take precedent.
No, I would only make it on if Councilor Crowe wanted me to, so. But yes, I have no problem waiting.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, if you can have a seat, and then we're gonna have some residents who have some questions, I'm assuming. Anybody else who wants to come up and speak in favor of this? And if you don't know which side, if it's just constructive criticism, just wait, we'll do it towards, against, that way it's a little bit clear. Anybody speaking in favor of this? All right, seeing none and hearing none, I deem that portion of the meeting closed. Anybody who wants to speak against it, or have questions, please come up and state your name and address for the record. Excuse me.
Good evening. My name is Roy Harriman. I am the property manager for Robinson Kudakura Apartments located at 59 Green Street. I think our concerns basically are that, again, our primary residents are either elderly and or disabled, with quite a few of them having to use either scooters, canes, or walkers when they're traversing both inside and outside the building. And further looking at the picture, this looks like it's almost very close to our entrance on Green Street. I mean, I originally thought that it was further down the street, but from just looking at the picture, it's not far from our entrance on Green Street. So that would be another concern for me, because again, if there's going to be poles and or other items above ground, even though they may be up against the fence, it can easily be, I could see either having issues traversing the sidewalk and or tripping hazards that could present themselves to someone who isn't paying attention or has poor sight. So again, from the management side of things, we would be very much in favor of, if it's possible, to find another site or a little further down the street where it's not closer to the Medford side. That would be obviously what we would be in favor of. And just so that, again, so we're looking out for the safety of our residents that live there 365 days a year. All right?
Okay, Councilor O'Malley.
Yeah, I had a question for the petitioner. Where is the existing regulator pit? And you had mentioned there's a temporary one that was installed in 2019, and that you had mentioned safety concerns.
So there's
If
a
you could elaborate.
temporary station on Commercial Street near our facility there. I think it's 100 Commercial Street. And yeah, all the new regulator stations.
Can you just lower that? I know you probably did
sorry.
it far. No
I
worries.
was worried it was mine.
It's very enjoyable, but thank you.
Yeah, so all the new regulator stations, so the temporary one was temporary, this one has.
Where I missed it. Where was the temporary one?
I believe it's 100 Commercial Street. It's near our facility on Commercial Street that's actually being renovated now.
Okay.
I don't know the cross street.
Okay.
Commercial
National
and
Grid.
Center, well, Commercial Center and Charles, no, Medford.
I think it's across from a
Super
bank.
confused.
think so. No, maybe not. It's, yeah, on Commercial Street and
The regulator pit now is on Commercial Street.
the temporary one,
That
yes.
seems very far away.
Well, it's on the side street. I think it's a couple of blocks from there. So with the permanent design, they situated it more within the system that it needs to feed. And as I mentioned, the new regulator stations all have extra safety features with double feed systems if one goes down and things like that.
And I'm assuming the temporary one was installed because the original one is non-functional?
I'm not sure why the temporary one was installed.
Do you know if there's a third one? Or is there an original one?
I don't know which one that was taking over for, but I know we were here and got just installed one at Garden in Lebanon, I think. And then
Yeah,
there's
because
a-
my understanding, the regulator takes like high-pressure gas and puts it into a lower-pressure gas so that it can go into people's homes, right?
So it does a lot of different things. Sometimes it does that. It also, you know, as the temperature drops and the demand increases, it opens up more flow and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it does a lot of different things. It's all, like the instruments and regulation is all within that vault.
Understood. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anybody else who wants to speak against this proposal, has any questions, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Patricia Catucci. I live
Just
on
one second,
Green Street.
Patricia. Can you say it again so we can hear it in the mic? It's for the minutes.
My name is Patricia Catucci. I live on Green Street.
Thank you, Patricia.
Okay, I'll take this off. My concern is, first of all, with the gas regulator, which I'm really not that familiar with, you're saying like it controls the flow of the gas. Now, will it actually vent any gas into the atmosphere? Through the vent pipe, which means that it would go into the neighborhood. Because,
Can you just, if you're gonna just have a conversation, can you just come to the mic so we can, we don't know what we can hear your question, we just can't hear the answer.
oh, sorry.
Thank you.
That's a safety feature as well.
Okay.
So the vent pipe will vent in a safety situation, any gas, so that it doesn't build up in the vault itself.
Okay, so where does the gas vent to? You said in the pipe, does it not go into the atmosphere, like outside of it?
So typically, it shouldn't be in there at all. It's just a safety feature. In the event that there was some gas in the vault itself, it will vent out the pipe and not build up in the confined space. So it's just a safety feature. It wouldn't normally have gas coming out of it.
Normally, right, yeah. I mean, that's my main concern, is because there's a lot of like little kids in our neighborhood. There's a park just down the street, Green Street Park, and I don't understand why there's other streets that have commercial buildings where they would want to take this and put it in a neighborhood. You know, you worry about the concerns, like healthy concerns, you worry about safety there, you worry about, like anything can happen with that. You know, National Grid, I do believe, has this whole big thing going on, some kind of building there, and I was wondering, why couldn't they put it closer to them, where they're the ones that would be regulating and checking it and this and that, like why in our neighborhood?
So when we no longer were able to use the original location on Green Street, I actually had suggested going into our field location, which is on the other side of the cemetery, but it's too far away from the distribution line that it's tying into and regulating the flow of. But I can go back and ask for another location.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's my main concern, you know, there's so much that can happen. You know, like they said, the elderly there, you know, the children there, I mean, you know, Malden has come a long way. You know, I remember when Brother Gilbert's was there, Cutie Cura was there, and like, it was all cleaned up, it was a beautiful neighborhood. And now we're starting to go back to this again. And I'm just dead against it. That's all I have
Thank you,
to say.
Patricia.
You-
Yep, are you all set? Yep, go ahead. Councilor O'Malley. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
You just said the original location on Green Street. So where is that location?
So that original location was on Green Street, just across Medford Street against Bell Rock Cemetery. That was, we originally proposed to put it in that location. And what we found out was that the remnants from the cemetery aren't confined to behind the stone wall, that they could actually be under the sidewalk in the grassy area. So it got very complicated with the state archaeologist, so we decided to move it a little down the road away from that area.
Oh, so you mean the original relocated location?
Exactly, sorry, yes.
Proposed.
Proposed, yes, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Oop, I don't have my mic. Yeah, anybody else? Yep, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Carrie Materi, 106 Medford Street. Piggybacking off of my neighbor, nice to meet you. So you did say that the temporary box is more so towards the bank on Commercial Street.
So the temporary vault is over, maybe I could look it up on a map. We have a facility on Commercial Street, and there's a side street. It's on the side street at our location there.
Which is significantly farther away currently than what you're proposing right now. So why can't we just keep it in that vicinity where it's been since 2019 versus ruining a neighborhood where, like you said, children play, there's parks. I myself have a 4-year-old. You know, we're doing our best. I volunteer regularly with PEG to paint intersections to make them safer, to make that stretch of Medford Street a lot nicer for the people who, like you said, live there 365 days a year versus the trucks that fly down the road when there's a national grid right across the street. So if we can't tie into the national grid right across the street, why are we still able to use the temporary box that's multiple streets away? So
the temporary one was installed temporarily, and it all has to do with the underground system. The best location might not be near the pipes it's trying to regulate the flow of. And when the engineers cited this particular relocation, this was the best spot in terms of serving the whole area to get distribution and pressure through the whole system as best it could. I don't know why they put it in Commercial Street at the time as the temporary one, but I can go back and ask these questions.
But if it's been there for approximately 3 years now and it's still serving the neighborhood and the community as it is, why can't we just stay there versus coming to the
Because it must not be
proposed
the best location for the purpose of the long-term distributions or regulator station.
Now, I see that we have the drawings here. Is there a proper drawing that we can get with like maybe 3D to what it's actually going to look like when you said there's going to be pipes coming up and things like that for the people of Katakura, which I know they're delightful, they're hilarious to talk to, we say hello every morning, but a lot of them do have mobility issues, and I know as a fact, just trying to get up the sidewalk on Medford Street, even without mobility issues, is difficult in the winter, so why would we want to, as me, an able-bodied person, create a more difficult scenario for those that live there full-time?
So I think that's why we didn't pick Medford Street. I have to check, but I know they picked Green Street because, like I said, the distribution line they're trying to tie into is there, and the sidewalk, I know when they cite these regulator station locations, the sidewalk has to be a certain width to fit in the regulator vault and the traffic box and the vent pole, so that's why they went around the corner to Green Street.
I know, it's just,
I did submit a rendering with application. There is one available.
Is it this one?
No, that's a plan. There's a little rendering, 3-dimensional rendering. Well, yeah, that's it.
So I see the blue, but is it possible to show how high off the ground things are going to be? Or is it just this entire?
So the blue part is the regulator vault, and then this little blue dot is where the SCADA box would go, and then the vent poles would go there.
And these are all underground, and these 2 poles here, and this box is above ground?
Correct.
And how?
So the SCADA box, you've probably seen them. They're about a foot and a half wide, and about 2 feet deep and 2 feet wide, and about 3.5 feet high. The vent poles are about the same, 4-inch diameter, about 3.5 feet high.
So it's, for lack of a better term, going to be an eyesore when it's installed. So what does that look like for property value for those of us who are homeowners in the area?
Actually, once you notice there, you probably will notice it a lot, but these are, like, I know the boxes are all throughout most municipalities. Not so much the vent poles, but they kind of blend into the background, but once, I think you'll probably notice it all the time because you're aware of it now, so, yeah, it will be, for
We'll
you,
talk
it will
about
always
Ward
be an
1 today.
eyesore, yeah.
So, all right, let's see. I think as of this point, this was my list of questions. But obviously, I am against this and would love further discussions on other locations and happy to come and chit-chat more. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, anybody else willing to, who wants to speak against this petition, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Anyone else who wants to speak against this, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Going once, going twice. Anybody else speak against this? Seeing none and hearing none, I deem that portion of the meeting closed. Councilor Crowe, there is a tabling motion on there, on this
I
matter.
would second the table and motion
Second,
so we
okay,
can kind
second on the
of
table
take a,
motion.
just a look around with even some of the neighbors and figure out if
Yep.
there's a.
So for the residents who
better-
might have came in a little bit late, we certainly heard you loud and clear. We asked National Grid to go back and do new renderings, new location, and hopefully work with the rest of the, you'll get an update on the next time there's a meet. We'll get an update, right? Public hearing?
I'm not
right?
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure, because I know sometimes. So you'll be notified, but I'm sure your ward council will be working with you. I appreciate it. National Grid to understand. So on Councilor Murphy's motion to table, seconded by Councilor Crowe. Clerk will call the roll.
Cologne Hayes.
Yes.
Condon.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Linehan. McDonald.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
O'Malley. Seeker. Simonelli. Winslow. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. Petition is tabled. And like I said, the ward council will work with National Grid, and you'll get more information on next steps. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Next order of business.
Paper 400-22, petition for a joint identical pole location, Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid, and Verizon New England, Inc., work order number 306-20175, to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the public way of Forest Street, beginning at the point approximately 20 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Forest Street and Nevada Ave. Hearing is required.
Thank you. Council Murphy, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Is that fine? Yes. Okay, thank you. I'd like to declare the public hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, my name is Adel Wahed Nabat at 170.
Adele,
Medford
can you
Street.
just spell your name so we have it for the record?
Sure. Adel, A-B-D-L.
Yep.
Wahed, W-A-H-E-D. Nabat, N-A-B-A-T. I
Will you
also
close,
have
Greg?
a business card if you want.
Yeah, the business card would be great, so we can put it on the record. Thank you, Adele. Thanks, Adele. Okay.
And I am in favor of this petition. I can give a little explanation on if anybody has any questions or concerns, I can answer them.
So can you, Council Murphy, would you like to speak first?
Yes.
Okay, hold on one second. Council Murphy.
I'm going to make a motion to table this. No one from National Grid has reached out to me.
Okay.
I've not had any contact with them, and I'd like to know more about this, not sitting on the floor, but actually standing at the site to understand the double pole situation
Yep.
and what's going on. So, once again, you know, it is incumbent upon National Grid to reach out to the councilors prior to coming before us for a public hearing so that we understand what's happening in our neighborhoods.
So, okay, so there is a tabling motion, Adele.
Councilor Murphy, I do apologize for that. I was under the impression that you guys were aware of this petition and previous petitions as well. Again, you have my business card, and I'd be happy to meet with you on site and discuss this location.
Great, so there is
I
a
do
table motion.
apologize. I was under the impression that you guys were aware of this petition. And as
Adele,
well as the discussion that happened about the double poles, I there was supposedly an email coming to you guys, or at least, I'm not sure who is, as I am not in that email, but it discussed the double poles situation that you have here in Malden, and the one that was tabled from last week, I believe, or the week before, and it was taken care of.
Adele, just, I know this is your first time before us, I believe. So, second, so anyway, I guess would like to make clear to you that even if we receive the petition, from our perspective, it's incumbent upon someone, a representative from National Grid.
I do like to make sure that you guys do meet at least on site to try to figure out what
Correct.
is it
You
that
need
we're
to
asking
read-
for. Again, I do apologize because
need
I
to-
was under the impression that you did meet on site.
Okay.
The engineer that submitted this mentioned that you did meet on site, so I wasn't sure who it was they met with, but I was under the impression that you guys have met on site.
Okay, so if I could finish. So that's a key, make sure you get the name of the counselor that your representative has met with, and the fact that that has occurred, because it will save all of us time and effort.
Absolutely.
We all have business and things we need to do, so
Understandable.
I'm sure you don't like being here tonight and having it tabled either, so
Most certainly not.
thank you.
Okay.
So Adele, I'm gonna take the table motion, but I just wanna let you know, so the triple poll, which is always my favorite thing to say, that was rectified because of a request that came actually out of the Bread of Life, who's building a new building, and we need to get a conduit in there for Comcast before we repave that. So that was done very expediently, and that was for the help of Bobby Knox. I do have an email out to National Grid. Verizon and the city of Malden are probably not good friends right now to ask for a list of double poles. I have not received that double pole list. And the other thing is, I think going forward from my perspective, a lot of times it just says, like, I know there's another one coming up, it says to put a pole up, right? I am not, and this is not to you, Adele, I'm not gonna be hoodwinked again, where you come in and put a new pole up, it's only for the purpose of putting a 5G antenna. I wanna know why you need to put another pole up, because that's what, National Grid's getting pretty crafty when they say they need a new pole, and it's not because they need to bring a wire over there so they can lease it out to a telecommunication company. So I wanna make sure when we do these, we know the real intent of putting a new pole up, okay?
And thank you, Mr. President, because I think you just talked about all three agendas list.
Yeah, I can't talk about the other one yet, because we're gonna do public hearings, but, yep.
Yeah, that answers all my questions,
Yeah, so
too.
stay
Okay.
right there, and we'll get right to you on that one, all right? So there is a tabling motion. Is there anybody here who want to speak in favor? I just don't want to assume that Adele's the only one. I think I know everybody else left in the room, but I want to make sure. Okay. Seeing anybody else who wants to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none and hearing none, I deem that portion of the meeting closed. Anybody who wants to speak against this petition, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Anybody else who wants to come forward, anybody else who would like to come forward and speak against this petition, please come forward and state your name for the address for the record. And just so I always keep my rhythm, anybody else who wants to speak against this, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none and hearing none, I deem that portion of the meeting closed. On Councilor Murphy's motion to table, seconded by Councilor Simonelli. Clerk will call the roll.
Cologne Hayes. Condon. Yes. Crowe.
Yes.
Linehan. McDonald.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
O'Malley. Sika.
Yes.
Simonelli. Winslow. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. Next order of business.
Paper 401-22, petition, Crown Castle, NG East, 1800 West Park Drive, Westboro, Mass. 77 Salem Street, Park Street, starting at utility pole number 5378 on Park Street. Trench and install 1 4-inch PVC communication conduit 164 plus minus southerly direction to a proposed 3x3 Crown Castle handhole on Salem Street from newly placed handhole. Continue 230 feet plus or minus easterly, then southerly to the building located at 77 Salem Street.
Councilor O'Malley for the paper? I don't see anybody here. It's you, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the back room. Okay. Let me open up I didn't know if you want to speak first. I declare that portion of the public hearing open. Anyone who willing to speak in favor of this petition, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Sorry about that, sir.
Oh, that's okay. Bill Conway, Crown Castle, 1800 West Park Drive, Westboro. We'd like to withdraw this petition. We've actually worked with Anthony Rodriguez from the IT department to come up with a solution without having to disturb the roadways.
Okay, Councilor O'Malley, any questions?
Yeah, I would just like to hear what the, if possible, I would just like to hear what the alternative is.
So we have currently some available fiber on that street, so I'm going to allow them to cut that fiber, splice in their connectivity, and route it through the high school, so we won't have to dig up Salem Street.
It's still gonna go from that pole and just through an existing conduit?
Correct. I have a
Okay.
connection from the fire department at District 1 into the high school that maintains connectivity. I
Okay.
have extra capacity, so this is the most non-invasive way to make that happen.
And it'll still be underground?
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Can I ask, so what is it for?
This is for the Star Center.
Oh, okay.
The medical office is a dedicated
I got it.
fiber optic
So they need their own
link.
fiber line. Okay, understood. Okay, so a motion to withdraw by the petitioner? Do we just gotta place on file, right?
Well, you know, we'll do something with it.
Do we wanna place it on file? Or you wanna vote it down to deny it? I'll defer to the ward council. We can do it either way, it doesn't matter. Please, yeah, we'll do, so, okay, you wanna do that?
That's perfect, because
Yep.
then we can put withdraw on the notes, and then it
Yeah,
gets taken
okay,
care of.
so on Councilor O'Malley's motion to allow the petitioner to withdraw, seconded by Councilor Crowe, clerk will call the roll.
Cologne Hayes. Yes. Condon. Yes. Crowe. Yes. Linehan. Yes. McDonald. Yes. Murphy. Yes. O'Malley. Yes. Sika.
Yes.
Simonelli. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. You're all set, thanks for coming, appreciate it. Thank you. Next order of business.
Paper 402-22, order that City Council designate Malden City Hall, 215 Pleasant Street, as the central polling location for citywide early voting for the state elections during the dates and times as voted on by the Board of Register of Voters as follows. Saturday and Sunday, October 22nd and 23rd, from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m., and 2 p.m., in room 105. Monday, the 24th, Wednesday, the 26th, and Thursday, the 27th. I'm sorry, let me go back and do that, because this is kind of like 2 days for this. So, Monday, the 24th, from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. in the clerk's office, room 220. Tuesday, October 25th, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the clerk's office, room 220. Wednesday and Thursday, October 26th and 27th, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the clerk's office, room 220. Saturday and Sunday, October 29th and 30th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., room 105. Monday, October 31st, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the clerk's office, room 220. Tuesday, November 1st, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the clerk's office, room 220. Wednesday and Thursday, November 2nd and 3rd, from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. in the clerk's office, room 220.
So I know my name is on it as sponsored as the president, but if you have any questions, I will defer to the clerk. Any questions for the clerk? Anybody? Okay, so that's all for early voting, correct?
That's really
And then once we, if this is approved, we post it online?
We post it online, I send it into the state.
Perfect. The state has to approve it too?
No,
right?
no,
They
no,
don't?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right, any questions? Councilor Crowe,
Nope, go
and
ahead.
then Councilor McDonald. Go.
I was gonna say make a motion.
All right, Councilor McDonald?
Just very quickly, for folks who are watching, I assume that the reason that we're not open the weekend before the election is the same reason that we couldn't do that for the September primary?
We are. We're open the weekend of the, no, I'm sorry, voting stops.
Yes.
Early voting stops
right.
on November,
Second?
no, it's like the 4th. It's that Friday.
Yeah,
So it's the same thing. So that's typically what you would ask in the
Right.
primary. We don't set the timeline, the state does.
right.
Oh, we're closed Friday, though.
We're
That's why.
closed Friday, but
That's why.
that's the day we'll use to count, not to count, but to put it, to tabulate all the ballots that we got in from mail-in ballots and early voting. So I know in the primary, we tabulated, on that Friday, it took probably about 12 hours. We tabulated, 2,700 votes or something, ballots, something like that, because you have to do each precinct at a time, so it's very time-consuming. So I'm assuming this time around, it's gonna be twice as many, because there's probably gonna be twice as many voters.
Yeah,
So the Friday before the election, we'll use this as a tabulation day, which is open to the public.
yeah. So we're really not able to run early voting right up until the
No,
election.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, good question. Any other questions? So I believe Councilor Crowe has a motion to, Councilor Linney, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a really quick question for the clerk. So when you tabulate them, do they get fed into the machine, or is it like kept aside as a separate,
So.
just
no,
curiosity?
So you take one of the 27 machines that we have, we set it up in this room, and
Okay.
there's a little card that goes in these machines, and you feed it through, so you'd have, say, 1-1. You put the 1-1 card in it.
Oh.
All the votes that we got for 1-1, you gotta sit there and run them through. And you take the card for 1-2, and all 27 precincts, so you have 27 cards. You don't know the tabulations, but they're all stored in these little cards, and then on election day, each precinct has one of these cards on election day, so they bring the cards back here and they merge with the early voting, and that's how you get the total votes.
I'll translate for Clerk Lucy. Those are memory cards for everybody else who doesn't understand what they are.
I don't think it's called memory card.
They're not
wise
like
guy.
Uno cards.
Like
I'll
an
have to ask
SD card?
LHS. I don't think they're called
Well, it's
memory
a memory
cards.
card.
No, I was just curious, because people actually asked me that after the primary. Do they show up on the machine when you go in to vote in person? Are they
No.
preloaded?
It's on this little disc, and there's 27 of them,
Interesting.
and then you merge them on election night.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And that's early voting too? Like when you ask for,
Everything we get
so
in
you
as
ask
a
for an early
Friday.
ballot too, right? A ballot comes in, you fill it out, then
Yeah.
you open them and feed them into the machine.
Yeah, and then from Friday, once we do that on Friday, anything we get on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we drive around to the polls. So that's how you
Oh,
get
so
that.
you stop on that day?
We probably make 3 or 4 rounds the day of, because people are dropping them in the box.
Yeah, in the front.
you know,
wow.
Yep.
Up until a certain time, so like the last election, we had 96 ballots or 90-some-odd ballots that they dropped off in the box out front from 7 to 8. Those are hand counted. So when you see unofficial results on Tuesday night, that'd be everything but what's come in after.
Oh, okay.
This.
But it does include the stuff on the scan cards that's added all up
Yeah,
together.
in this election, though, you're able to, anything postmarked, we have to receive it in the boxes by 8 o'clock or in the office by 8 o'clock Tuesday.
Physically.
Physically, anything received up until the following Saturday, as long as the postmark is November 8th, we have to include the ballot. We have to count it. So we won't get the official results probably till Saturday.
Interesting. And you're not getting any complaints? I know you see in other parts of the country, people are complaining about the ballot, the drop-off boxes. Your staff's not having issues with people complaining or harassing you about that, I hope?
We get some emails. I save the emails just to save them, but I don't pay much attention to them, to be honest with you.
I hope we can keep
Because
it.
it's only a few people, and, you know, if mail-in ballots are the way to go. I mean.
For sure.
If you're worried about going to polls, and if people saw how secure these elections are, I can only speak for around here.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't have any concern at all about dropping the ballots off in the box, either box down the police station or here.
Good. Well, that's important for people to hear, I think. Thank you for that. That's all I've got.
Thank you. So I believe it was Councilor Crowe made a motion to adopt, seconded by
Jading.
Jading. Councilor Seeka, clerk will call the roll.
Roll call move tonight, huh? Cologne Hayes. Yes. Condon. Yes. Crowe. Yes. Linehan. Yes. McDonald. Yes. Murphy. Yes. O'Malley. Seeka. Yes. Simonelli. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. Okay? Next order of business.
Fair enough. Paper 403-22, be it hereby ordained that the Malden City Council, that the Code of the City of Malden, MCC 7.20.010A12, is hereby amended by striking from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday, and replaced with the same hours as Trafton Park, unless the Stadium and Athletic Commission establish different hours.
So this is going to be, Councilor Winslow wanted to refer this paper to Rules and Ordinance. So is anybody, with him being not here, anybody want to take the option? It's going to go to Rules and Ordinance, so. Okay, on Councilor O'Malley's motion to refer this paper to Rules and Ordinance, seconded by Councilor McDonald, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Next order of business.
Do you want to accept all 3 committee reports and then do each paper individually? Yep.
Okay.
Paper 404-22, committee report, the Standing Committee on Finance, to whom was referred papers 369, 370, and 371 of 2022, have considered the same, make the following report from the committee, recommends these papers out favorably to the full council.
On Counselor Murphy's motion to accept the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Counselor Murphy for the committee.
I'd like to have clerk read.
Hold on, let me turn your mic on. I apologize. I'm not as.
Sorry,
there you
I'd like to have I'd like to take the three papers individually. I'd like to have the clerk read 36922.
Paper 369-22, order that $1 million be appropriated to pay costs of reconstructing and making extraordinary repairs to the Central Business District garage, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, and to meet the appropriation, the treasurer, with approval of the mayor, authorized to borrow the amount of $1 million, GLC 4471, or any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the city therefore.
Counselor Murphy for the paper.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Mr. Hogan, Parking Director and Chief Strategic Officer, came in and met with the Finance Committee to discuss the condition of the Central Business District, or CBDG garage. There are definitely some stress fractures in the roadway, especially the area where it gets an incredible amount of use, which is really where the ramp coming in is. This is necessary to make the changes for the safety and the continuous operation of this particular garage. There are more areas that will need to be addressed in the future, but this $1 million will actually address the most critical part of the structure today. The plan is to bond if we have to, but when free cash finally comes in, the hope is that we'll be able to actually use free cash to keep the garage up and running as we move forward. If we don't do this, we will have to shut the garage down. I mean, it's a serious enough structural issue that the garage cannot stay opened unless these improvements, thank you, improvements are made. So I know that this was voted out of the Finance Committee unanimously. If anyone has any questions, we certainly can, speak more about it, but I would recommend that we pass this paper this evening.
Thank you, Counselor. I have a couple lights. Counselor O'Malley.
I'd like to thank the Finance Committee for doing its due diligence on this. I did connect with Councilor Linehan, who said that a number of the questions for the Parking Department and the Finance team were extensive and that they were all answered very adequately. I've been previously informed about this for a couple of years now. A lot of the work is already being done because it's safety related. So I'm fully in support. These garages are a lifeline for our community. That at one point they were bringing in a good amount of revenue, and I think that will come back. It's really kind of crucial to the revitalization of our downtown, and we have a lot of contracts that are connected to them. So I do think in order for us to uphold our end of the bargain with a lot of our businesses in the downtown, we need to make sure that they have places that their workers can park. And obviously that's a huge part of our revitalization. So fully in support, and I just thank the committee for doing the hard work. Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor O'Malley. Counselor Karen Colon-Hayes.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we did ask a lot of questions, and so thank you for having, Mr. Hogan was there, and it was a great discussion. We talked about coming back. I know I asked for an update on a plan financially, like how this is going to roll out, how that million's going to be spent, and then we also discussed about different ways that we could encourage people to park in the garages once they're up, and to, like a marketing plan to let people know that they're there, so they'll be used, and we increase our revenue that way. Possibly just a couple of other different ways that we can, try and increase revenue for the future, so this doesn't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you,
Fully in
Counselor.
favor, yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Counselor. So Counselor Murphy has a motion to approve, second by Counselor Simonelli. Clerk will call the roll. Is it all right if I call the roll on this one? I know, I just want to double check.
Colon-Hayes.
Yes.
Condon.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Linehan. McDonald.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
O'Malley. Seeker.
Yes.
Simonelli. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. Motion carries. Next order of business.
Paper 370-22, order that the sum of $128,164.75 being the same is hereby appropriated from the TNC Surcharge Municipal Distribution Account to cover the following expenses: road milling and paving, utility structure adjustments, pedestrian signal upgrades, wheelchair ramp upgrades, and the new crosswalk line striping with the thermoplastic in the intersection of Summer Street and Clifton Street.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Murphy for the paper.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Hold on, Councilor. Hold on, my mouse is sticking. There you go. You get the mic.
Okay. Nope, you should shut me off.
Hold on.
I actually
Now
did
you got
have
it.
it.
Sorry. There you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so the TNC surcharge is actually a 10%, a 10 cent.
Sorry, Councilor.
Sorry.
I'm making sure my agenda's working right.
Okay. The TNC surcharge is actually comes from Lyft and Uber money. So whenever you call for a ride, if a ride emanates from Malden, we receive 10 cents. And over the course of a year, it really adds up. So the first couple of years, it was over $100,000 each year. And as a council, we made a decision that as opposed to taking that money and spreading it out between 8 wards and only having $10,000 and not being able to, really make change, that we would keep it as a pot and we would look for intersections where pedestrians and vehicular traffic needed to be improved. So we've had a number of intersections. We've had one Forest and Main, which is a huge intersection near Oak Grove in Ward 4 and Ward 5, which benefited greatly from this money. This particular $128,000 that we're talking about is actually 2 years' worth of TNC surcharges. Due to COVID, the surcharge amount dropped significantly. But once again, working with engineering and the traffic department, they have identified an intersection that really needs to be upgraded, that will, be a safety, an increase in safety for pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicular traffic. So I would urge that, knowing that we've done this in the past, that we allocate all of this money to the intersection of Summer and Clifton Streets.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy.
And once again, this was voted unanimously out of finance.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor Amanda Linehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would just like to thank the committee for their work to advance this. I know the neighborhood is going to be thrilled with it. It's a key route, not just for Ward 3, but for anybody accessing the downtown. It's just north of the train station area up Summer Street and just sorely in need of, crosswalks, sidewalk improvements. Doesn't really have walk signals right now. One of the things that we talked about in committee was how this will help to slow down cars that whip around the corner too. It's okay. So it'll help people. It's going to shorten the crossings, help folks get across the street more safely, but it hopefully will also have a traffic calming effect on the whole intersection. So that has, pays dividends for all the feeder streets, and I think this is a great example of how effective the TNC money can be if we think big picture with it. So thank you again to the committee, and I hope the neighborhood is very excited. I know I'm happy to see this get started, and I really appreciate the support.
Thank you, Council. It sounds like you seconded. From the chair, Councilor Linehan and myself, we always often receive a lot of complaints about that that intersection. I think there's 6 inlets out there, and, the challenge is it's really wide. So, you come around the corner there, it's tough. I'll use the word today, traverse that, somebody healthy or somebody younger, but it's really a difficult intersection to drive, never mind cross. So I think this is much needed infrastructure update, and hopefully we'll have some calming effect on certainly the traffic and make it much, much easier for residents who use that as a thoroughfare to get to and from either downtown or certainly the Oak Grove station. So on Councilor Murphy's motion to pass, seconded by Councilor Amanda Linehan, clerk will call the roll.
Cologne Hayes.
Yes.
Condon.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Linehan. McDonald.
Yes.
Murphy.
Murphy,
O'Malley.
yes.
Sika.
Yes.
Simonelli. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. Motion carries. Next order of business.
Paper 371-22, order that the appropriation enumerated below, being the amount of $31,470 be appropriated from the Community Preservation Act Fund for the following project: Wallace Park Restoration, $31,470 from Historic Preservation Reserve.
Thank you, Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Councilor Murphy, before I give the mic, just to let everyone know that Michelle Romero did come to represent the project. It's certainly the Historical Committee, so just FYI if anybody has any questions. Councilor Murphy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Once again, I was just smiling at Ms. Romero, so we've had her before us. We had her before us in the Finance Committee meeting, and as you all might remember, we have heard about Wallace Park before. We had actually approved the initial CPA funding for the wall to be restored to its original condition. During that project, the cost went over and above the initial amount that was approved by the CPA due to work that once the wall started to come apart, there was more restoration that needed to be done. The Historical Commission went back before the CPA committee and, went through a little bit of back and forth with them as to why they didn't know that this extra money would be needed, but it was part of the bid contract where there could be an increased amount over that which was put forth pending, I guess I'm going to say unusual circumstances that were not foreseen until the wall got taken apart. The CPA committee has referred this out favorably to the City Council for approval. And the Finance Committee, once again, has voted this out unanimously to the full City Council. I don't know, I'd like to invite Ms. Romero up to see if she'd like to add anything to what I've already said, to just clarify anything that someone might have an issue or question on.
Thank you, Michelle Romero, City Planner. I'm here as the clerk of the Historical Commission this evening. I think you explained it very well. Thank you for your time and support at the Finance Committee as well. We talked a lot in detail about it. As you mentioned, this was recommended by the CPC as well as by the mayor, and it's important. It is the project is complete, and we do need to pay for the project, and this is the outstanding amount.
Any questions for Ms. Romero? I don't see any lights on. Council Crowe, is that a light?
It's Council Condon.
Oh, Council Condon, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on. Council Condon.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sorry.
That wall was in really rough shape, but I got to take a closer look at it. It looks like a brand-new wall. I think the contractor did a terrific job on it, so, and you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Council Linehan, you want to say any words?
Sure. Just again, to briefly just thank Ms. Romero and the committee. I've also had a chance to go out and look. I think it was over the summer we were able to go take a look at the kind of first phase, what ended up being the first phase. It's absolutely beautiful, and even just walking and driving by now since then, it's just so much, it looks so much more welcoming and beautiful. It really is a gateway to this part of the city. So it's completely worthwhile and fully support it, and I just want to thank everyone for their support of this.
Yeah, and I do want to speak from the chair. Living across the street, I saw it deteriorate over a long amount of time. I know, and I appreciate the persistence of the committee, because I know the first time, like any time we did anything with the Community Preservation Act, it was a learning curve, and you had to get new estimates, because, that's not, you can't go buy that stone at Home Depot. It's a specialized craft, so great work. Happy to support it. And I would say, I was down in Councilor Crow's neck of the woods last week painting some streets. Next wall you gotta look at is Bell Rock Park. That needs, the Bell Rock Cemetery, that needs a little lifeline over there. So maybe the Historical Committee can look at that one next.
I will let them know, thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
working with Councilor Simonelli potentially on Lincoln Commons.
Oh, of course, of course.
Stonework as well, but thank you, I will let the Historical Commission know.
Nice work, Councilor, nice.
I'm sorry? Yes. But it did take close to 3 years to get the original CPA funding, so I appreciate your support.
There's enough work for the Historical Committee to help out, so I just wanna,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I'll let the commission know, thank you.
You're welcome. On Council Murphy's motion to pass, seconded by Councilor Linehan, clerk will call the roll.
Cologne, Hayes. Condon. Crowe. Linehan. McDonald. Murphy.
Yes.
O'Malley. Seeker.
Yes.
Simonelli. Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes. Spatafora, yes. I believe the docket is clear. Personal privilege, Councilor Seeker first. Council Seeker, then Council Crowe. Council Seeker for the personal privilege.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to remind everybody that this Sunday, October 9th, is our annual Public Safety Day down at Linden Park. It starts at 11, it goes till 2. It's one of the best events that I think we put on the whole entire year. So if anybody doesn't have anything to do on this Sunday, from 11 to 2, hopefully the weather will cooperate and the helicopter can land again. Every year we have issues, but
Excuse me.
it is on standby, and I spoke to Chief Cronin last night, who said that so far it is a go, as long as the weather permits. So hopefully we'll have that. And I just wanted to give a little update. People have been messaging me regarding the fishing derby. Councilor Spatafora and myself have tried to wait as long as we possibly could to determine if we could actually have one this year. But unfortunately, due to drought conditions, the water levels are not high enough for us to be able to have it this fall. So hopefully we'll get a lot of wet weather over the winter, and we're gonna try and do it for the spring instead of waiting for the full year. So look for us in maybe March or April, and hopefully we'll be able to host one then. So I apologize, but you know, due to unforeseen circumstances beyond our control, we cannot have the fishing derby this fall. So thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Crowe.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just want to really say thank you to, first, John Alessi, our transportation planner. As Councilor Spatafora had mentioned, I think it was like 2 weeks ago now, we were out there, it's the corner of Bell Rock, Madison, and Green Street, and it's this very odd 5-point sort of intersection that's wide and dangerous. So we, with the support of the mayor, and I appreciate him really making sure that we got this off the ground, and working with Neighborways, we came up with a plan that it's painted, and it's a pilot project. It's the first in Malden, using this technique, and hopefully if it takes off and it works, it's actually going to help. It helps delineate where the streets are, where the lines are, where people going down the wrong way and one way, because it's a wide street. So it really hopefully has a great effect. And all the neighbors, including the neighbor that spoke about the petition earlier, came out and painted. And I want to thank the mayor who painted, Councilor McDonald and his family painted, Councilor Spatafora painted. Anybody that came by didn't come by to say hi. The police chief, the fire chief, gave him a paintbrush. So it really was an all effort, and the neighbors are thrilled with it so far. It'll give us a couple of, that intersection is scheduled to be redone next year, so it's really gonna give us a lot of data and to see maybe some things that we can do more permanently when it gets redone. So, but I really wanna thank John Alessi, the councils that helped out, the neighbors, and the mayor really for their support in tackling this area that has been an issue for many years. And we've tried lots of different ways, but I think we found a reasonable solution, so I'm very pleased. So, thank you.
Thank you, Council Crowe. Council Linehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lots of fun events coming up. I know definitely going to be at Public Safety Day with the Girl Scouts. Looking forward to that a lot this weekend. Just a couple things coming up in Ward 3. So once again this year, the Friends of Oak Grove and myself and Jen Spatafora from the school committee are going to be collaborating on a fall festival. We're actually going to be working with the BBPTO and combining what used to be a costume event for the school with this festival this year. Just more the merrier. That's going to be on Saturday, October 22nd at noon, so from 12 to 2 p.m. on the BB Plaza. Same as other years, we'll be having pumpkin decorating, a pumpkin giveaway, goodie bags, a fun photo backdrop, hot chocolate, music, and hopefully we're going to be able to do the pet costume contest again. We're still kind of finalizing the details on that, but it was too popular last year. I think we got to find a way to make it work. So again, that's on the 22nd, Saturday from 12 to 2. Would love to see anybody. It's welcome, open to all. And then the second thing is we're going to be having our second Malden Hospital community meeting. That's on Thursday, October 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's going to be in the council chambers here and also on Zoom. We'll be posting the link on the city website, hopefully in the next couple of days. If anybody has questions, of course, you can reach out to me. They'll be showing some revised drawings based on feedback that we got from the community of what the building and some of the surrounding area might look like, and definitely still plenty of opportunity to ask questions and give feedback. So hope to see folks on the 27th. If you can't make it, just reach out to me. We will share the Zoom recording after the fact, but I'm also always willing to talk to folks if you just can't be there and have an idea that you want to share. So that's all I've got.
Thank you, Council Linehan. Council O'Malley.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to announce that there will be a 4th community engagement meeting for the Spot Pond Brook Greenway. That it will be on Monday, October 24th at 6 p.m. It will be taking place here in the council chamber, as well as via Zoom. The posting will be going out most likely tomorrow. It will be posted in the newspaper. And at the meeting, we're going to be getting feedback on 25% design. And the whole point of this is to get feedback because we'll be moving to 75 and then 100% design as the city takes over the project. So it's a great opportunity to kind of really come out and see where the project is at this point. I also want to congratulate one of our own for a great tenure in our community. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and we are very privileged to be joined by one of our own, an individual who has a lot of accomplishments, and I will go through them. This person was a youth advocate, a mentor to many young people in our community, whether it's Girl Scouts, the Malden Youth Employment Program, a Malden recreational softball coach, and many other activities in our community. This person is a co-founder of Fugi, Friends of Oak Grove Friends of Oak Grove Incorporated, which she founded in 2006 and was the president until 2021. She's the recipient of many awards, including Cambridge Health Alliance's Community Advocate Award in 2011, the Triangle Inc. Spirit Award in 2012, the YWCA's Woman of Distinction Award in 2012 also, a recipient of the North Shore Black Women Association's MLK Community Leader Award in 2015, nominated by our own, the Reverendable Neil Anderson, ABCD's Boston Community Hero Award in 2017, Massachusetts Unsung Heroine Award in 2019, when she was nominated by Senator Lewis, the Massachusetts Latinx Trailblazer Award in 2020, when she was nominated by Rep. Altrino, co-founder of Malden Core, which is community organizing for racial equity. She continues to fight for language access, has led efforts to hire a DEI coordinator, and I know for me personally, was monumental in terms of helping lead the on-the-ground initiative and activism at the beginning of the COVID pandemic and really helped us get through some of the toughest times in our community. And last but not least, she's the first Puerto Rican and Latina to serve on the Malden City Council. And I just want to say personally, congratulations and thank you to Karen Colon-Hayes for serving with us. Thank you. Please give me a round of applause for Karen Colon-Hayes.
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Simonelli.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say thank you to Joe Levine and the Rec Department. We've got our glass backboards for Harvard Street Park, Miller Park, other known as Harvard Street Park for those folks that don't know that. And after looking at the Facebook page with the video, I just want to let everybody know that I'm very sore today. So all that effort, I didn't get one shot in, and my back is blown out today. So I better stay away from that. But anyway, I see there's some confusion in there. That a lot of people are saying they changed the name to the park. Well, here's a little tidbit of history for you. It's Miller Park, named after Robert Miller, who actually founded the Newland Street Rec Center down there and was the first person to direct under the YMCA a youth program down there for the kids. So the neighborhood got together and took this parcel of land and named it after him and his family, because he was a big advocate, I believe under the Dukakis administration back in the day, for children. And we used to have the family come down. We had 4th of July parties down there a lot. But if you're actually really from the neighborhood, it's actually Harvard Park. Everybody calls it Harvard Park, but it is Miller Park, for real, if that's not too confusing for everybody. But anyway, we did get the glass backboards down there on Harvard Street, and we were playing around yesterday, a little too much, but it's nice to see that, and I just want to thank Joe Levine and the rec department for getting that in as fast as they did, because coming on October 22nd, we're going to have our second annual Jading Day, which is the individual Jading White, who actually was shot by a mistaken identity and was killed at the Bowden Street Apartments, coming up on 2 years now. So we just want to remind the neighborhood of our loved ones who we've lost in the neighborhood, and also we want to recognize the fact of gun violence out there. It'll be the 22nd, which is a Saturday, October 22nd. It'll be starting at 1 o'clock. We're going to have food, free throw competition, three-point competition. We did it last year. It was an excellent event, and we're just hoping that the event is the same as last year, except this year we're going to dedicate the basketball court itself after Mr. White. So that should be a pretty good event. So if you're around and you can make it, just stop in. Your time is the same. Your thing is the same day? No?
Yeah, same.
Yours is. Okay. All right. So maybe you can make some rounds that day and visit all the neighborhoods. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and thanks. Good night.
Thank you, Councilor Karen McDonald.
Just got 3 opportunities to share. 2, I'm sure Councilor Winslow would have shared had he been here, but I'll just channel him for a minute. There is a second community meeting about Malden's Transit Action Plan. That is 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, October 6th, at the Senior Center. The Future of Maplewood Square Committee is still taking responses for resident input about the vision for the square. So we've already had a couple hundred responses, but make sure if you live in the area, your voice is known. And then just to note, we also...
Council, how do they get those responses in?
Yeah,
Website?
there's it's on the city's Facebook page, and it's posted on the city website, so you just follow the link, you can take the online survey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, yeah, that'll do. That's good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Karen Cullen-Hayes.
Thank you. Speaking of Hispanic Heritage Month, I just wanted to remind people that this Saturday, October 8th, from 12 to 3 at the gallery at 57 Pleasant Street, a number of us are going to be speaking there. Sewing Opportunities will be there. Elena Martinez, our new language access coordinator. I'll also be speaking, and Julio Salador and Catalina Moreno will all be speaking there. So I invite you to come on down. And I just want to thank Councilor O'Malley. That brought tears to my eyes. I was not expecting that, and thank you, for acknowledging Hispanic Heritage Month and the fact that there is a Puerto Rican first time here on the Malden City Council. So I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Seeing no other lights, on Councilor O'Connor's motion to adjourn, seconded by Councilor Murphy. All those in favor? All those opposed? Council meeting is adjourned.